All right, good afternoon. Awesome. I
Or
see.
evening for some of us. Yeah.
That's right. It's a little after 3 here, but yeah, my 14 days about over.
Well, there you go. Yeah. What are you gonna do with the rest of your day, huh?
Now, I tell you, I had a hard time keeping my eyes open just a minute ago. I actually just took me about a 7 minute power nap, and so I'm like shaking it off right now.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's really good. It's kind of overcast and rainy here this past week here in Alaska.
Hmm.
Here too. Terrible.
We took the weather with us. It's nice here.
That's
Oh,
true.
man.
Yeah, when Julie was up here with family, we just had a beautiful week, middle of May. I mean, it was just incredible. The sun just came out, the wind died down, and there was no rain. It was gorgeous. And then as soon as they left, here come the clouds and the rain. Oh man. Yes, Lee. So good to see you.
Hey Jake, how are you? Good to see you too.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. So, Sean, I see you're logged in. Fantastic.
Yep. How's it going?
Oh, it's going well, going well. So, all right, we covered quite a bit last week. First off, I just want to make sure everybody's kind of got a recording notification. I believe this is being recorded. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, we covered quite a bit last week, and I want to make sure, see if there's any questions on that, because I've kind of spent a little bit of time on that same kind of framework with a couple others, because within that framework of just kind of understanding, that, hey, what is our futures market doing, when the U.S. market's not open? Those are very key price zones, and it's very interesting to see how price interacts with those highs and lows, which we call like the Globex high, Globex low. And then it's also very interesting to see the consistency and what price does when it interacts with, hey, the previous day's high, or even the current U.S. market high and low. So we talk about previous day's high. We're really talking now like, hey, the U.S. market, what was the high and the low of the U.S. market? And it might even be that, we kind of rolled that into like, hey, it's very fascinating study to look at that 60-minute range. Hey, have we already kind of established the high of the day, or a very strategic price zone around that 1 hour mark, from when the market opens or closes? And then of course the that VWAP, and I utilize the VWAP / even point of control. I'm using a lot more. And for those not real familiar with point of control, that's that highest amount of volume at a specific price. And what I just finding is so fascinating is understanding those 3 price areas. There's no real specific price on any one of them, but those zones, those areas, and having a trading plan that respects those 3, that is, to me, that is foundational, for us having funded accounts, from a futures capability. So any questions on any of that, and did that add value? Because I think that really is instrumental, kind of going forward.
Good.
So if I understand you correctly, Jake, so you're using point of control right now as a basis of getting in and out of on your trades?
Yeah, looking at, kind of that point of control, or just those real high volume areas, from a volume profile, from, where I may expect or, anticipate price to return to. If I'm up interacting with, a Globex high or a previous day's high, from when the U.S. market was open, or even the opposite way. If I've down and I'm retesting a previous day's low, or a Globex low, for a return back towards the middle, or to that point of control, or even a VWAP, it is just an amazing, they just need to be respected, because when we start hitting those upper limits or lower limits, and I'll just say that being the Globex high or previous day's high, it goes back to one of the things you guys have heard me preach from the beginning. Okay, hey, did we breach it? Number one. Number two, did we retest it? And then number three, what was resistance? Is it now support? And if those three conditions are met, then of course, we're not going to come back down to VWAP when we have something like that. But we don't just set a bullish or long entry just because a wick, does breach, previous day's high. We want to see that breach mature and price actually go above what was resistance or what we anticipate could be resistance. And then that retest, back down, to that area. And then once that old resistance validates, becomes support, then of course we'll be going, that means we're kind of in a bullish and possibly a trend, for the remaining part of the session or a good portion of the session. But when we don't get that breach retest and then that continuation in that same direction, that's where that third area, point of control or that VWAP, man, it needs to be part of our trading plan and make sure we're understanding where those key volume areas are at certain prices. Because there's an advantage there, huge advantage. So did I answer that question, Anthony?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. All right. We had it's been an interesting couple of weeks too, just realizing there's been a lot of movement, within the futures, US equities in particular. It seemed like we had a while where things were just kind of going sideways. It was very difficult to understand direction and trend, but last couple of weeks, I just amazed at, it's going up and it's coming down. So a lot of good opportunity as we go in that. So one of the things I kind of wanted to accomplish today is, again, I believe I want to say essentially everybody in this group is obviously it's a funded account community, and I don't know if everybody's intimate. I know some people are very intimate with it and use it regularly, but I wanted to actually do some regular, trading today, utilizing the simulation that's within the NinjaTrader platform. And then that kind of allows everybody to kind of see, hey, what is, because once you purchase, a funded account, if it's Apex, and I've got Apex and I've got Bluesky, both of them basically have the same type of integration directly with TradingView. They both have kind of a NinjaTrader integration. And part of that subscription, when you purchase a funded account, one of these futures through, I can speak to like Apex and Bluesky, is inherent in that you're paying for your data, so just the NinjaTrader platform alone, you can go in and download, historical data, and then go into, disconnect any funded account that you have and go into a playback mode. And you can literally, it doesn't matter what day or time of the week it is, you can just create that scenario and watch those candles mature in real time. Or the same speed and time as if it was real time. Does that make sense? So I really want to make sure everybody's very aware of that training capability that's there, because that again is when we all met, it's like, hey, our goal is we're going to rewire our brains to look at a chart, look at a candle a little bit different than we probably did prior to starting this trading journey. And so I just want to make sure everybody's aware of some of the incredible training capabilities that do not cost anything, once you actually are having a funded account, that you're starting to work with, because that data comes with that. Any questions on that? And who is not utilizing NinjaTrader today, to train?
I have NinjaTrader. I've not been trading on NinjaTrader. I'm trading on TradingView through TradeAway.
Okay, and that is
Yeah.
actually.
Well,
probably
I'm
one-
still learning NinjaTrader. I just actually downloaded it yesterday. So
Ah,
I've been learning. I'm still hesitant to use it. I mean, there's a lot of things that I need to learn about this. Seems like it's a faster entry, but then just to put my stop loss on my my profit, I'm still iffy about that.
okay. So Leslie, that actually is really just perfect timing then, because what I don't even think I have to spend a whole lot of time, tonight to like go through NinjaTrader setup, and that's really not the objective tonight. But at least give me an idea of where folks are, what their comfort level is, and then what the desire, for that is. I want to be able to just at least get my thumb on that pulse. But if we can go in and actually bring up NinjaTrader, we'll bring up like the micro NASDAQ, and to be able to just kind of have a visual of what that's going to be like. Then you could use NinjaTrader for a simulation to really exponentially up your training, program. While at the same time, hey, when the market's open and you're actually trading, there's no reason to change what you're comfortable with. Trading view is a blast. If I'm just trading one account, absolutely. I don't know if I would be trading elsewhere. There's just at least at this phase in our trading businesses, it's just that NinjaTrader does have a lot of other opportunities in the future, as far as copy trading, integration, and things like that. So and different companies that you could integrate, from your personal, your own US based brokers, you can integrate into there. There's automation, or even options, and then there's automation, with options. So it's the full suite of integration from personal US based brokerages, different types of instruments, let alone, push button tradings, semi-automated bots, let alone fully automated bots. So just real important to understand, hey, where can we kind of connect the dots on different opportunities that exist within, our individual trading objectives long term. So that's just good feedback I needed right there, to kind of know that I'm going down the right path. Rhonda, I see your hand was raised, please.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because I just signed up for the funded account and trying to get on TradeAway, which I successfully logged on yet. But do you suggest just go straight to trading then? I mean, I used to use Thinkorswim all the time, loved it, but I haven't gotten accustomed to anything really here yet. What do you suggest?
If I'm
I
understanding your
didn't see
question
options go
correctly,
there.
oh, I got an internet connection unstable here. You guys hearing me good right now?
Yes.
Okay. If I'm understanding your question correctly, from a one account perspective, wanting to gain that confidence of, hey, I'm trading futures, and I want to be consistent with a trading plan, and gain that confidence. That integration with TradingView, that's going to be very tough to beat. That's going to be very, very
Okay.
tough to beat.
Just stay with that, you think?
I think that is absolutely viable, because then over the next few months, when you're like, hey, I really like this, then you can enjoy the journey of learning Ninja. But there's no requirement right now. If we're trading really just one account, one funded account, futures, the charting capability, the charting tools, the support and resistance, the trend lines, any indicators you want, volume profiles, all that is so easily available. And how many, have subscriptions of TradingView that are still months out from expiring. So there's really no need to go and learn another platform, when you start looking at one account. Just be aware of as you expand or scale your own personal trading business, then having a different platform It just gives you, I don't want to say infinity because that's a pretty big number, but they're just different capabilities where you can utilize, you know, a platform like that for automated options, manual options, integration with personal US-based brokers versus the funded account arena, you know.
Just
It's
more options
It's
altogether.
unlimited. So that'll be
Okay.
just, you know, maybe 6 months, a year from now, you know, like this
Okay.
group here, we'll have different classes on that and just, hey, what are you interested in? You know, push button trading. They're just continually expanding the capabilities. That's just, again, I always refer to them because I just really resonate with their business model of, you know, training and education, and then integrating technology, and then plus more advanced, you know, depending on where you are in your career. I really appreciate that. But
Okay.
but to answer your question, and does everybody, and this might even just close the loop, Rhonda, has anybody had an issue connecting an Apex account to TradingView? Because that is first and foremost the key. You know, and that's just basically as soon as you buy your account, you're going to log into your dashboard in, let's say, Apex.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then you
I
basically
have
just
the
gotta,
login and everything is just,
trader
it's just not working, so.
tradeovate.com, you know, then you've got your one time only where you got to kind of go in and sign all the disclosures and agreements.
Mhm.
Okay, once you do that one time, you got a username and password. Again, you can obtain that from your dashboard anytime you want, you know, within your Apex login. But you log into Tradeovate, and then on the top right, you've got a little kind of a little switch. You click on that, and then there's an add-on tab, and where you activate, you know, trading.
That's where my password is not working. My login and password on the dashboard of the funded account is not working for Tradeovate, and I don't know I don't know who to talk to get that to work, you know. So
That sounds good. Hey, Rhonda, what we'll do is when we're done with this session right here, if you've got time, I'd be happy just stay on. We'll
Okay.
just create another Zoom real quick, and then let's just go through it. I'm hoping
Okay.
there's just a quick fix to that.
Okay, perfect. I don't
Yeah,
want to
that
take
should
time
work.
now.
So as long as you can
Yeah.
log in to your your Apex or ATF.com dashboard, all the information we're going to need to get you successful should be there.
Yep.
So everybody else is good with being able to connect with TradingView. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share screen here. And again, I'm just kind of ready to kind of bring up NinjaTrader simulation. And again, I want to make sure as we come together weekly that we are making sure we're looking at some trades and understanding the thought process of getting into them, because we spend so much time on different platforms and talking to futures, this and that. And I really want to make sure we're prioritizing, hey, you know, what are some consistent approaches to entries? Why? You know, that management once we're in a trade and then getting out, and to kind of be able to see, you know, especially within the futures asset class, you know, of how many different opportunities they are. I mean, that's really the focus of this group. So everybody's kind of seeing NinjaTrader.
Yes.
My screen being shared. Okay. Let me actually just kind of focus on one chart here for the time being. Let's see here. I'm going to have to minimize something. I'm going to stop share real quick just to, because this is being recorded, I kind of want to just protect some private information here real quick before and I did. So we're good to go. Okay. Okay, back to where we are. You guys see my screen again now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Don't have a lot of things marked on here, but right here is 1535. So this is real data coming in. So this is current market. The NQs, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over here to the micro NQs. And kind of zoom out. Here's a bigger picture of what we got going on. When we start talking these vertical lines here, again, just separate the 23-hour sessions. So again, every 24 hours, it follows a day, but this is basically 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's that 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time does not exist on these charts. That's because the market is closed. That's where they are settling futures contracts, snapping a chalk line, getting ready for the next day. So when we're looking at this right here is actually Wednesday's session that is starting, even though it happens to be Tuesday evening. So here's Monday evening going into Tuesday afternoon. But again, this is just 28 May session, essentially, is what we're looking at. So one of the first things we want to do as we looked at, trading today, this right here would be, wait a minute here. That's 0. Oh, okay. We got to keep in mind, yesterday was Memorial Day. So instead of this being 6 p.m. or should I say 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, remember the market closed at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's why if you look at the bottom, you got a 0850. Well, because 9 o'clock Alaska is when it closed. Okay, so that's the exception to the rule. If we look like right here, you see a 1250. So this 1255 you see on Thursday. I'm sorry. Yeah, last Friday. That is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, horizontal lines. We don't really have this data here today yet, so I'm actually going to kind of set the chart up based on what was Monday's data. Okay, right here. So, and I like to make these purple. And that's just purely because I'm looking at a kind of a Globex. No, it's actually not. That was U.S. market based. Green lets me know, hey, this high was built or established when the U.S. market was open. Okay, that's where that green is. This green line here is just, again, there's so much activity going through here. And I believe this also kind of lined up with a kind of a point of control that did exist out there. So when we just look at this price over here, back on early last week, touch points here, all this touch points here, I had to leave that line on my chart today because it's such an interesting area to look at. All right, when we want to set up our data for that playback history, we're just going to disconnect any of our actual accounts that we might have in there, because you cannot have a playback connection and any other connection that might bring in or be connected to an actual account. And again, that's good. So you can't actually go in and train on a playback mode and start or worry about, getting into some real data and triggering some trades on any other scenario. So first thing you want to do is disconnect those, and then we're just going to go into the playback mode. Okay, once we have the playback mode, we're just going to come down here. I have not actually downloaded today's data. And that's what I really like about this simulation mode is, hey, as soon as the market's closed, you can actually download the most recent data. So I'm going to go in here to the MNQs, and basically the 27th is I think our last data. It would have started yesterday evening, and it should end today. So we traded today. It's kind of fresh in our mind. We can download this data, go back in and actually back trade it, work our plan, refine, hey, where could I have entered a little bit better? How could I have managed the trade better? Where could I have exited? And you can do that based on whatever, you know, you have to download the data per day, but once it's downloaded, then it's always there. So we started 26th and the 27th. Let's see if we got anything on the 28th. It doesn't take too long to usually data, but doing this regularly, kind of making an exercise, allows you to have a pretty good database of data to be able to go in and back trade. You know, and if you want to do it with gold or, you know, if I just do the micros because probably I trade probably the micros more so than the minis, but it's really irrelevant. I could just do the minis, the regular contracts, because again, other than the math of how many contracts, it's the same chart. Same chart. Probably because I got Zoom up is why it's taking a little bit longer. I just kind of want to see this go away right here, then I know I kind of have the latest data. All right, what's the delay here? It usually don't take that long. I'm gonna go ahead and go to continue. And we'll just kind of we'll just go back to Monday, kind of trade yesterday. We might be able to roll right into today. We'll know
Were
here.
you using the kinetic? You need to use the kinetic to get the most recent data.
Say that again.
The kinetic end of day free,
Yeah.
that will give you the most recent. So
Try
you
that.
have to disconnect, yep, disconnect, play, connect your kinetic, go download what you need, and then you have to reconnect playback.
Huh. Okay, let's definitely try that. Where do I? Okay, just a second here. Play is it tools, historical
Connections.
data,
Yep, there you
and then
go. Now
get
go to market replay, get
replay.
what you needed.
Okay, I was successful utilizing the other one, but hallelujah, Julie, I appreciate it. Let's go back
Just-
in here, do this real
Yeah, the
quick.
most recent has to be the kinetic. I ran into that and I had to ask Tracy. I'm like, how come I can't find it?
Okay.
If you're on the kinetic playback,
We
hopefully it
are
won't
right
make a liar
now.
out of me. Oh, sorry.
Still kind of giving us that pause here, darn it. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time troubleshooting that because we've got all the previous month's data to come in and accomplish our goals tonight. But that's a good input, Julie. I'm gonna kind of study that a little bit more. I've been successful just utilizing the playback, but this kinetic, we're saying, hey, for end of day free. So this, okay, so end of day free, let's say we don't have like the data from Apex are coming in. Is that where that would also come into play?
Do the kinetic and you actually get it to download, but I see that you're having problems. Then you have to disconnect. Once you have it downloaded and you hit continue, and then the playback will work with the most recent day, but I don't know why kinetic's not working for you.
And it could be Zoom. A lot of times I see, I know working with Matt, it's like when Zoom's up and a lot of folks, all of a sudden his Ninja Trader platform does not work as well sometimes. So let's
And that could be
continue
it.
to work.
The days that you already have.
Yep, we've got lots of data already in there. So
All right, sorry, hon.
Now I don't want to. Now this is all locked up on me. You continue, but we got this ugly screen right here I can't get rid of. Minimize, let's try that. Our connections, we're in the playback mode. Let's just see what we have here. So download historical data. The goal is once we, from our control center, when we have our data downloaded, we go into the playback mode. Once we click on that, we had the kind of a continue button down here on that other window. Once we clicked on that, that's what brought up our actual integration tool right here. Closed out of that. All I got to do is disconnect from here. Everything's gone. So we're back to ground zero. We come in, we've downloaded our data. We hit the playback tool. We've got our instrument in there. We've downloaded whatever data we want. Hit continue. Once you hit continue, we can minimize this right here. Now we have the option to come in, set the speed that we want our simulation to operate. Obviously, one time means if I'm like on a 5-minute chart, it's going to take 5 minutes for a candle to fully develop. And we'll go on to the next one. You can kind of scroll through here, kind of look at this date and time up here. Well, let's jump up to around, we'll say like 4:30 in the morning on what was yesterday, the 27th. So we just kind of grab our little slider here. And you could start, back on the 20th and kind of just exercise quite a few trades, through your simulation mode. But here there's the 26th, which is Sunday. There's Sunday night. And now we're starting. So actually here is last night. So the 26th. Get my days straight here. 26th is Sunday. So there's Sunday PM. Now we're in the AM. So here we are on the 27th. So now we're kind of looking at Monday morning. And this is where it gets kind of pretty cool. So here's where the 26th starts. You kind of see May 26th starts right here. So that's Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. And our timestamp over here, this should be around 3:46 a.m. So we are actually in Monday morning, pre-market before the market opens. Okay, so where's our current support and resistance? What is our bias? What's kind of our plan of the day? And this is where futures, I kind of like from the perspective, hey, I'm not out having to do this analysis on, those 6 to 10 different stocks every day. I just got my micros and minis, NASDAQ 100, and maybe even the S&P 500. Choose your asset. So we look back over here. This is Sunday. This is Friday. Here's Thursdays. And again, we're looking at Thursday happens to also be an all-time high. I've got a purple line. Purple to me is kind of joint. It's significant. The time here is Globex. It's 0450 in the morning, or should I say it's 8:50 Eastern Standard Time. This line is going to stay on my chart until it gets breached or taken out. because this is a known area of interest for a lot of folks. So that line's there. When we get into this time frame right here, here's 8:30. So this is a good get my day. So here's Friday, but just notice that even on Friday, look at this price comes back up and interacts with the previous day's high. That's where we talk about, hey, US market is open here. US market's not open here. I want to differentiate between that Globex high and the US market / the previous day's high, because this price area here, where these three kind of come down, this is working as support. Well, it breaks it, comes back up, and now it's resistance. But look how it plays out on Friday. So we look at Thursday's previous day's high, and Friday, it impacts our playbook. We're making decisions based on this price zone. Okay, and then now we're looking at the 26th Sunday. We've got the high from Friday kind of listed. We've got this area here. Again, this is US, this is midnight, so this is Globex, but this right down here is US market. So we kind of got to make sure we've got this listed here. And let's make that green. I just call it green again. That's kind of lets me know that it's US based. Okay, so, and again, this is still from Thursday, but Friday, right in this area right here, this is all Globex. This is outside the US market. But down here, we got US market is open. This is 4:30, so this is still Globex. But right here, 06 in the morning. So right here, this green line that's already here is based on the low, essentially the low of the day when the US market opened on Friday. So you kind of see the framework that we're working within. We're now curious of what is price action going to do between, and this is again trading on Monday. What is price action going to do based on what happened Friday? So then once we kind of get our support and resistance up, I don't have VWAP here on the Ninja Trader, but let's look at it. Why don't I? So I haven't got it on there. I could definitely put a point of control. No, actually I can't. Unless I do replay on. I'm going back into Trading View right now. Okay. I am kind of just jumping over point of control. This is on Trading View, basically the same time. And for those that aren't aware, like within Trading View, I instead of using the indicator all the time, just for a hasty anchored volume profile, we're the same where we can click on our long and short tool. There's also this anchored volume profile. And it doesn't actually take, there's a big delay when you kind of turn on and turn off the volume profile indicator. I love just to be able to drop this on, toggle it off. It gives me this point of control immediately. I mean, just within seconds. And why is that important? Again, it's just low bandwidth on the platform, but this line right here, I've got this red line that's in here. This is the point of control that we're kind of talking about. So if I delete that line, there's no volume, no point of control. Let's bring it back in. Just kind of drop it when the session started. Let it populate. This red line, this is I'll jump on a trading view and it's around 18,876. I will drop a line within NinjaTrader so that I do have a visual of that point of control. And just because we're doing the simulation within TradingView, that's where I want to drop that. This yellow line here just kind of gives us the historical path of where the point of control kind of moved from. It was fairly low during the Globex session Sunday afternoon. Price kind of moved up, and then through the night, going early Monday morning, you can kind of see how volume or price, as it kind of came up, the majority of transactions for all our price action, it was substantially higher than obviously when price was down here. So this right here is just a way to 876.75 to be able to kind of have a visual within our NinjaTrader 8 of where that volume profile is going to be, or where it is at this moment in time. Around 876. So it was right in this area right here. And I'm just going to make that orange, just so we know that it's a little bit different from the others. Any questions on that? I'm so used to trading, trading views up corner of my eye, because I haven't paid for really incorporated the volume profile and stuff here within the NinjaTrader 8. But it's such a significant, and then I also usually have TradeAcct up going, on my left monitor, and that within TradeAcct, you've got a really, really nice volume profile. That's just part of that package. It doesn't cost anything. So we've got multiple areas where we can get these point of controls / volume profiles out. And that's the challenge, I guess, of having multiple platforms to pull information in from. But what we do have here with the NinjaTrader 8 is an ability to kind of hit play, and it starts playing out. We're replaying, Sunday morning here on Tuesday evening. We can easily kind of jump that up. So we're looking at around a 3:46 a.m. We can kind of jump that up a little bit to kind of have it kind of click through until we start getting up to maybe we're not interested in trading until 9:30 Eastern Standard Time when the market opens. Okay, so now we're hitting the 4:17, and this is kind of where it starts getting pretty interested to me. If I'm up, a lot of times I do like to see what's happening from 4 to 4:30. I'll never be in a trade at 4:30, but I might be in a trade between 4:30 and 5:30 Eastern Alaska time, but I'll never be in a trade at 5:30 when the US market opens. Okay, so now we're approaching the 5 o'clock. So this is probably where you want to kind of come in, start slowing it down a little bit, and start kind of getting ready for the bells to go off Eastern Standard Time here in just about 15 minutes. But what we're just kind of going through right here just opens up all kinds of potential to be able to really get emotionally engaged. I'm going to kind of pause here. Emotionally, you get all your senses are able to engage in this simulation right now, just as if it was real market, real money, real time. We can slow this down. We can hit pause, which we did, slow this back down to a little more manageable time. But here we're going to go 6 times. This is US market is now open. We're at 3 minutes and 25 seconds into the market. We're on a 5-minute time frame, and that's a fairly bullish candle kind of taking off, when the market opens here on a Monday morning. Okay, not going to chase, but it looks kind of bullish. So again, we're kind of looking left. Is there anything significant that we're kind of running into? Yeah, look this price area over here. Are we going to come up and interact with Friday's high? Are we going to make it that high during the kind of the opening range of the first hour? We don't know. But one of the things that is consistent is we can definitely exercise some patience, and let's see what, if all this sideways chop through the evening, is price going to come back down and retest this area? And if this area holds up as support, if we can, for the most part, stay up above our 200 and our 100, then otherwise, I've got a bullish bias because of overall trend. And we've all been kind of tracking the NASDAQ 100 all-time new highs, daily charts since what, end of April, has been extremely bullish. So we already have that going for us. Number two, sideways through the night, but I think we're all kind of familiar. We don't have a good pullback to get in. Our 10 EMA is way down here where all this price is. Biggest takeaway for me is I've got this high amount of volume where all these transactions, I'm expecting a retest to come back down to this point of control. So this goes back to that third price zone that I'm going to respect. We're approaching previous day's high up here, but our maximum volume, majority of transactions where there's a lot of buyers and sellers that have exchanged or traded is quite a bit down here. Are we going to come back down and retest that? I'd be a lot more comfortable at getting in down here versus getting in even above a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA. But if I happen to get wicked in, and then do I really want to ride it down from, let's say, 900 back down to, that's 25 points. Not interested in a 25-point drawdown. But the next thing that I'm looking for is to confirm if our opening price range right here, which happens to be like this point of control, and again, we got the 100 and we got the 200. If this zone right here holds support, then I've got reasons to be very bullish. I'll be looking at getting in around the 200, around the 100. And if I can, again, when we can get our stop loss, kind of below what we believe to be like the low of the day, that's a great place to be. That's where you can start accumulating those 1.2, 2, and 3.0 Rs. And if we don't have a playbook or conditions met to get in down in here as price kind of keeps coming down, then we start looking at, hey, where are some other consolidations and areas to get in if, in fact, our bullish bias does prove to be valid. So in market that time, we've went through 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes of data here just in the last, 3 to 4 minutes. Because again, we got 6 times the speed that we're watching. I'm going to kind of pause real quick too. Over here, I've got the playback account. Make sure that's selected. If I go and enter a trade, I've got an order. The quantity, again, I'm dealing with the micros. It's already preset to be 5. What I don't have preset is really an ATM strategy or a trade management ATM. What does that stand for? It's nothing more than a protective order. Account trade management, I think ATM. I think it's kind of it's a bracket order. It's where you put your stop loss and take profit in. And I think Ninja kind of utilizes their own verbiage and they call it an ATM. You can come in and pre-build the different types of strategies you want. So here's like for a mini NASDAQ 20-point profit that I could put in there. And I could come in, edit it. So I've got a stop loss of really 100 points, taking profit at 100. That's not my 20.1. 1. 20 point 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 1 We'll just do the MAQ. We'll do a large one here. We could kind of see how we can adjust it on the fly. But we want to make sure that this is all set up. We're getting a nice pullback here from this very bullish opening push. And here's the thesis that I've got, and this is how I traded it yesterday being Monday, is I did get back in down here once I seen that this was holding up a support, and then I was able to go long and get in, and that's what we're trying to validate here. Again, we've almost come down and retested this opening. I mean, how many folks out there have a opening range breakout? You know, here's your first 5-minute candle. You know, did they get wicked in here and then it just kind of rolls over? The opposite of that would be a snapback strategy. And that's where you got your opening range and then price does go up beyond the opening range, but then it snaps back. And entry criteria is actually like at the top of this candle, and then you write it down and you take profit basically at the bottom of that opening range candle. Those are specific strategies that are actually kind of been in the industry for quite a while. And this right here, this is really a snapback price action that we're kind of looking at. And that's another reason why we don't really want to chase on a lot of these. This is very bullish going in, but we want to see it kind of come down. And is the low of the day established by this large green candle? You know, I love the 2-minute time frame. And when I see the 2-minute candles saying good morning, sweetheart, to this 200 simple moving average, that's very important to me. Because price tends to, well, you can see here, 2-minute time frame, we're just bouncing off of this 200. We can kind of zoom out a little bit. I'm going to slow this down just a little bit while we're out. Again, many of you have been with me for a while that understand, hey, here we are at the 200 up and away, and it comes back down to it. But there's a 2-minute with a 200 simple moving average that I'm continually kind of keeping my eyes on, especially around the time the US market opens. It was consistent with our tech stocks when we were trading those US equities, and I'm seeing the same type of behavior or the interaction on a 2-minute time frame with a 200 simple moving average. So a lot of what we've been studying and learning over the past 12 months to 18 months is so applicable with these futures. Other things I'm looking at too, a lot of times is what are the Qs doing right now? If the Qs did have a gap up or a gap down, those can become very, that's very good information as far as what we can expect even from our NASDAQ 100. Because again, everybody, I believe in this forum understands that the Qs and this NASDAQ 100 are the same. It's just the Qs are only active when the US market's open, where the futures contracts are 23 hours. So gaps on the Qs become very fascinating to still work your gap plays with the Qs when it comes to, hey, what's the NASDAQ going to do, you know, the same time frame. All right, so what we've got here is look at this point of control, and we kind of just pulled that off of TradingView. And again, that's what I like about that is if you've got the minimal TradingView, and I don't have the free version, so I can't speak to that. But because we're not looking at the indicator, we actually just kind of utilize that inherent or that organic from the toolbar, from the drawing toolbar within TradingView. We're able just to kind of take a peek at where the point of control is, which again is a price area where maximum volume or maximum number of transactions have occurred, you know, at least for, you know, the most recent time of the session. And that's.
Are you going to label off the initial balance, that 1 hour?
Yeah, because that's where that kind of ties into our, like right now we have a US market open high, so a 0.542. And where are we at? We're at 613, so we're about 15 minutes away. And this is where I think it becomes fairly strategic in the sense of that 60 minutes and how many times that does correlate to either the current session's high or the current session's low. And many times how you can look left and hey, at that 60 minutes on the current session that we're trading in becomes eerily consistent with other areas of support or resistance from the previous days. So 1 hour is kind of where what Julie's alluding to, and that's where we kind of start locking in, hey, current session highs and lows, what do we have at that 1 hour mark? Right here, we already know that this is US market, so we really do want to kind of drop a line here because our current session high, at least with this first hour, is established. We have an upper range kind of established here. What we don't have, what we do have, we have it within the first couple minutes, but it may change over the first hour. But like right now, here is where the price opened, and really this point of control that we dropped is our low of the day so far. And it happens to coincide with the point of control, or again, where there's just so much activity that's happening right in this price range. And what we're waiting on right now is kind of, we need to confirm that this 200 simple moving average / this 100, we're below the 100 now, but we need to confirm that our bias to go long is solid. And so if we in fact have the low of the day identified here, and again, here we're hitting at 615, if this holds as support, then we have a lot of additional information. We've retested, we start off bullish, we come down and retest this opening price range, and point of control along with our 200 simple moving average are confirmed as support. So then we start looking for bullish trades. If 200 simple moving average, or we start getting past this 1 hour mark and this price zone here is breached, retested, and then things roll over, we're no longer bullish. And that's kind of what we're waiting for here. So the fact that we got this big bull candle kind of coming in here, taking out this low, kind of makes me a little kind of still in a wait mode. I'm still waiting for a little bit more data. It's 6:15. But if I can't take out these lows here, I'll be looking at getting in long. That's the thesis. That's how I approached yesterday. So this is where it's kind of interesting here. Do we have any distinct candle pattern? Let's go back over here to a 5-minute time frame. So 5 minutes, I love. So we already know from our 2 minutes, great bounce support with the 200. Here's our 5 minute. This wick here did take out the opening low. So we did breach the opening price of the US session. We're approaching 1 hour. We got about 10 minutes. But I'd say here in the next 10, 12 minutes, if this 100 EMA holds as support, then we're going to be looking at, I personally was looking at getting long above this area right here. I was looking at getting in anywhere in here. I ended up getting in a little higher than I would have liked to have. I wished I would have put my trade in right down around here above this point of control, but I did actually play the breakout of a bear candle. I think it's coming up here. So again, kind of trapped a couple, some bears, that were at play here, but I ended up kind of riding a drawdown back down towards point of control for about 10, 15 minutes. And then we had that beautiful breakout yesterday. But the plan here right now, saying we didn't know how it plays out, and then how I executed it yesterday, I just waited to confirm that this was going to be the low of the day. And then my bullish bias was confidence. I felt I had the edge. And then I got in right around this 82.50 mark. And then price, and it was just, I had my wife here and we were kind of talking through it. And it was Memorial Day. Not real confident in the type of movement we were going to have and volume. So we just put in a small profit of, it was like, we just had like 10 points. And once we got triggered, it kind of rode through our drawdown a little bit, but it hit our 10-point target once the breakout did occur. And, we high-fived and had a great rest of the day. We were done trading. And then of course, I think everybody's aware that it come all the way back up and took out, this previous high. It was an extremely good day yesterday. I like the higher lows that we got in right here. Let's speed this up a little bit here. Good grief. Sorry about that, everybody. I believe it was right. And okay, we got this. We don't take out this low right here, but now we've got an opportunity to get in above kind of a bear candle coming in here. And just what I like about NinjaTrader, just a right click on the screen, and then you've got your sell limit, or your buy stops based on order entry stuff you've done over here on the right. And then your take profit and your stop losses are all pre-configured here within this ATM strategy. But right click on your chart where you believe you want to get in. So if we do like a buy stop market here, again, I want to make sure I've got the correct accounts all set up here. And then you acknowledge it, yes. Submitted. And essentially the order is submitted. So a lot of consolidation going on right here, sideways. I like these higher lows, getting in kind of above this bear candle here, not necessarily waiting for a bear candle. Well, I mean, here's your first bear candle closing above the 10 EMA, clear up here. We're below the 10 EMA right here. But once we confirm that this is holding a support, that's the different conditions I'm getting in. A little bit different than what we used to have from, just 10 EMA. We wait for 10 EMA, it would be like on a 3-minute time frame here. And again, absolutely nothing wrong. But we kind of got our breakout above this area right here. And you can kind of see this particular protective order is actually pretty large. But once you get it set in, you can easily just grab these and kind of drag and drop, move them. Again, if I'm below this 200, below the low of the day, that's one of the most beautiful places to have a stop. And then kind of let things kind of ride. And then I could bring in, I don't want to have my target up here so high that I actually have to make a new high of the day, but I could definitely bring it down here and kind of, I don't have to make a new high. I've got excellent risk to reward ratio. We've already got 10 points 11 points here. You can click on this over here on this kind of your, what do you call this? The your chart trader displayed here. So there's the actual dollar amount based on 5 micro contracts, profit right here. Click on it again, you got a percentage. I don't know what the 62, but here's actually points on the micros. And again, when we start dealing with micros, 1 contract, 1 point, $5. We have 5 contracts, so each point is worth basically $25, depending on how many contracts you have. And that should make sense to everybody based on that futures calculator that I did kind of share. You just kind of do some hasty math. 20 points if you've got just 1 mini contract, which is the same as 10 micro contracts. The 20 right there. So target hit here without having to make a new high. When we start looking at, hey, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to kind of pause here for a minute. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, but Julie had kind of alluded to it. But when we start looking around, hey, 6:30, or should we say 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, happens to be right in here. So there's 2 things, and this becomes kind of like that second price zone that we talked about. U.S. market high established, U.S. market low established for the current session. And that's where that 60 minutes becomes I believe and it's consistent. And that's what's nice about playbooks. Hey, if 60 minutes makes sense, more days than not, we're going to identify some key price zones within the current session within that 1 hour. Here we got a 5-minute candle, opening range breakout, kind of a snapback occurred. Well, let's zoom out a little bit. At 1 hour, we've basically got what we believe could be the low of the day established. And we've also got a very key resistance area or price zone, because we can expect probably a little resistance right in here. Now, if price does breach this and then go sideways, it could roll back down to, point of control again or VWAP. That is one scenario that I'm prepared to trade again with. Or it goes back if we end up breaching it, come above it, and then we retest. We could then look at possibly going long again based on some of these other viable targets that we have. Again, we've got the previous day's high to deal with, and we've got, what's this line over here? Yeah, just kind of a very key resistance area that we got there. And then ultimately, we're going to make a new all-time high. So a lot of decisions just made based on what happens in the first hour, a viable support and resistance based on the high that we established within the first 15 minutes of the market, and identifying 100 EMA and 200 working as support, validated as support, along with this point of control. It kind of confirmed our bias. We retested this opening bullish move. We have every reason to go bullish going forward. That was the reason for getting in the trade. Any questions on that? Because that's a rinse and repeat day in and day out on futures. That is very key. We can continue kind of playing here. So here's our breach of our current sessions, high of the day. That's kind of that middle finger, inverted hammer. Kind of, if you were still in the trade, it's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to be in there past that. We're on a 3-minute time frame, but it takes itself out really quick. So that's still a very strong bullish move. Now taking out this high right here. Now with futures, I'm very picky at getting in above these highs until I have a very solid retest coming back down. In other words, I need to see this become I need confirmation that this is support and not market makers or institutions, trying to liquidate, all the bulls out there, and then we roll back over, if that makes sense. Again, it's trapped. It's another way of saying trap. I don't want to get trapped above current session's established high. But when I get a couple bear candles coming in, and if this holds a support, I wouldn't hesitate to consider my mouse, wouldn't hesitate to consider getting in again, in this area.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Now, there's a couple different ways to play that. One, kind of want to pause a little bit because I didn't do it. This is hindsight, but where I'm taking my trading, and it really has been paying dividends recently. But this breach of this resistance area, and then these three bear candles coming in, to consider a retest back down to this. If your bias is still bullish and we've breached it, there's a lot of good traders are going to put a buy limit order in at the top of this wick at this price right here. And that is actually a very, very good play. I seen that after the fact yesterday, and I see it after the fact even right now as we're training. That's one thing I really like about this simulation trader is you could, well, let's just do it. That's the whole power of this tool. This tool should allows us to come in, develop our protection orders to our preference. Maybe you want 15 points, maybe you want 12 points, maybe it's 10 points. What type of stop loss you're going to have. And then just rinse and repeat, practice, practice, practice. But once I do, I think, back this up a little bit, we'll lose our current data. But the 5 micros, I guess was realized, low $222, but we were only risking what were we risking there? About I'd have to look at, I think around $150. It wasn't much, but we definitely got well over a full R there. So I just want to kind of capture this, but if we back this up a little bit, I think we're going to have to reset some of our data. Let's look at it. That's 3:38 a.m.
Okay,
Let's see what-
Order
what-
canceled.
Okay, so it canceled the order. We went back in history. Let's hit play. Another thing I like about this tool is I want to study what just happened again. And I want to kind of fine tune my trades, because one of the things you look at, I'll kind of keep my eye on this time frame here, is especially like on a 5-minute time frame. I mean, here's even an example. You've got large bull move here, but where do you get in? Do you want to get in above these candles, or do you want to get in kind of at the bottom of them? Looking left and have a retest kind of come back to the top of these candles, that's where we're going to start being able to have a lot cleaner, more consistent, and better entries on our trades. That's where I'm kind of wanting to, that's where I'm going. Is I want to reduce my drawdown as things come getting wicked in. If I'm going long, I want to do more buy limits. I want to buy at recent levels where price was, because I'm expecting price to actually pull back and then go up. Okay, we're going to slow it down here in a moment. Okay, pause. Okay, so we've breached. We expected a little pullback or a breach rejection at this price, but it still stayed very bullish. So now we're kind of up above it. Where did I lose y'all?
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
We're the ones supposed to sneak out, not you.
Yeah, I don't know where I lost y'all. I slowed it down here because this is where I really wanted to kind of zoom in. This is
Back to your screen share,
say that again.
screen share.
Oh, I just. There we go. Are we still recording?
I think it came back on saying it was recording. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a little red light up on my left screen.
All right. So this is kind of one of our golden nugget takeaways. Again, I kind of want to demonstrate here. This
Back screen. so
price
maybe-
right here, like
You're back. Recording again.
yeah, that's the first time I think I've lost, completely dropped twice. So I'm
your
gonna have to
screen's
be
back.
careful here. Be careful here. We're back on. You guys see in my screen? Because I just
Yeah.
if we
Yeah.
drop after, I could kind of demonstrate this, because I just will encourage everyone to kind of start looking at more of these limit buys. Hey, if you got a very bullish bias, hey, let's get in at some key areas of support. Instead of getting in above, where getting in above some bare opposite color candles and a trap, powerful. It's really good. But that's with the futures, you're going to retest a lot more than I think you do in a lot of different stocks. And the drawdown can be very significant in the futures. So what I've been studying, and a lot of credit even in Julie, kind of doing a lot of homework out there, and a couple folks were watching, but it's like, hey, there's we've been in this long enough, a lot in this group is, hey, we're looking for better entry criteria. Can we minimize, that 0.7, 0.5 consistent drawdown that happens, in 70-80% of the trades? Do we expect every trade to work for us immediately and always stay green? No, that's not what I'm saying. But smaller R's dealing with the futures, but looking for every bit of maybe like a 1.2 to 2.0, when you're only risking like $100 to $150, all of a sudden that 200 to 300 reward really adds up. And I share that because that has been my model here the last few weeks. Kind of slowing it down to speed up, and it's working very effective. Before this candle comes down, I'm looking at this price right here where I want to get in, and I'm going to do like a buy limit, and if we'll get filled or we won't, but we're looking for a good retest of this area. But here we breached it. We kind of come back down below. Now we've got a green candle opening above what we believed old resistance. But when we have a candle open above it, and once we have a retest of something like that, that's conditions met for me to say, hey, what I believed was going to be resistance is now support. So again, 1, breached. 2, we actually had a good retest back below it, and now I've got a candle opening above, but I'm not going to chase. But I'm going to kind of respect this price right above this candle right here, and which again, nothing more than what the high of the day for this current session is. And maybe we missed it by a point or two, and that is going to happen a lot. But how many times, and I guess this is where I would rather, if it does turn on me, I would rather get filled here and then realize I'm wrong, and I go ahead and exit the trade down here, approximately, maybe only 5 or 6 point loss. Because if I continue to roll back down, and especially like take out this candle, I was wrong. Versus if I was to get wicked in like right here, it's just hypothetically say this was a bear candle and then it does roll over and then keeps going, well, I've just doubled my loss. That's the thought process there. How strong is your bullish bias, you know, before you do a buy limit? Because you're buying with a lot of times when price is actually coming down, going the opposite direction you want. But once we confirm this area of support, we run with it. We can kind of speed this up a little bit and see what's going to happen here. I didn't go in and see exactly what price I would have got filled, but just rinse and repeat. This becomes the reason or where I dropped it. This wick right here. It doesn't look like got filled. Looks like I might have missed it. Darn it. But again, got to practice. Got to practice on that. Can't remember if it goes. Yeah, we ended up missing it. Darn it. But look how close. And that's what's going to happen. It came down and kind of bounced off of it, but we didn't get filled. Okay. And that's going to happen quite a bit, and even if we were to get above this bear candle closing here, Memorial Day, holiday, we just don't know. We don't know. But this was where I wanted to get filled based on that wick right there. That's what I'm practicing. That's where the simulation comes in so handy. And I believe over time, I'm experiencing it. My win rate is far better and my drawdown is far less. And I'm practicing these areas of support and resistance, looking left. Because again, look where I think this is where price does stop, but how significant, you know, is this resistance, you know, right here, kind of looking left. I mean, support and resistance is as valuable. We can't make trading decisions without looking left and have any support and resistance.
Order canceled.
I don't know what just got canceled there, but any questions on that? I mean, I'm hoping this kind of helps a little bit. This is a very powerful simulation tool because you get to watch the candles mature, you get to see the wicks, you get to know if you would have got filled or not. And you can back trade the same day over and over. You could start at, well, you can go back months. Look at your daily time frame. I haven't downloaded historical data, but if we can bring it over here. Actually, this is Trading View. Let's look at the daily data. We come back. You know, look where we've been bullish since. Well, again, this is January, but I think it's like we had this. Good grief, that's going way back in. This price right here, all-time new highs, double top. We kind of rolled over, you know, back in March. Okay, so we've kind of had this bullish run up, creating new highs. So you could come back, go download this historical data. You know, how did we trade here? We got kind of an all-time new high right there. We kind of pulled back. Again, a lot of support and resistance right here. But back trade this multiple days here. This might give you a lot of insight of what's, you know, when we were coming back up into this area of how to trade this right here. Because now we're creating all new highs. Well, we just did that right here. Back trade a lot of this area. Get a sense for, hey, normal price action is going to kind of pull back for a couple days. So we got to pull back down to the 20 here. Well, a lot of people were panicking the other day, but this pullback here really wasn't that big when we start looking at the larger time frame. You know, I remember some people commenting, that's falling off a cliff. That really just come down and kind of bounced off the 10 EMA. But you can look at the, what is common here versus what's common here, and go download that historical data and just back trade it. You get to set it up to the speed that you're comfortable with. I think usually when I'm within that time frame that I'm wanting to trade, 8 to 10 is pretty cool, because I can still have that, it's moving pretty fast. I can still maybe stick on my even 5 or even a 15-minute time frame, and still really exercise my my actions, manage the trade, get in, and it's not too fast. Is this new to some of you? Does this help?
Yes, it's
Okay, because it's going to be resources like this, tools like this, that I believe are going to be essential for us to really get to where you're consistently profitable. You need to be able to rinse, repeat your plan over and over. What are Esley and Stacy's conditions to get in a trade? And here's a platform or a means. And TradingView is good. Don't hear what I'm not saying. But when we can actually watch the candles themselves develop, and start utilizing these different wicks to kind of come down and get us filled, or watch the wicks go up, then all our senses are engaged. The emotions that are in a live market, we actually get to experience that, within the NinjaTrader platform. That's why it's really powerful. If there's any one tool to speed things up, from a evaluation account perspective to a funded, I believe it's tools like this. And do you have your plan written out? And are you consistent on what your conditions are for getting in? And this allows you to validate it, 100 times over, and then track it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I don't even know what. I do not remember seeing this one here. Anybody remember that wick on yesterday or Monday? This crazy candle? I don't.
If you change time frames, it might not be there. It's kind of weird. Kind of like what TradingView did.
Yeah, so that's the 27th. Yeah, so this is Monday. I don't recall this candle. Of course, I was done.
No.
I was done trading here. I just looked at it later through the day. But yeah, that's crazy candle. But what I wanted to kind of capture here again is observe over and over. I think it's very valuable in your plan is like, hey, if we're still holding on to a trade, when price action starts doing this, you kind of get these upper wicks, rejection. That's where I start saying, hey, I'm out. It's lost that momentum for one. And within a futures construct, how many times are we going to now? This lets us know, hey, the bulls are kind of losing some steam. Overall, we're still biased, but let's look where price comes back down and bounces off our 100 EMA. And this is where you want to look at that VWAP. And TradeAvate is very cool with a VWAP and the volume profile. I love TradeAvate from those perspectives. And with Ninja, I love the simulator, but I really haven't went out and mastered how to go out. And I think sometimes you got to purchase like even the volume profile, stuff like that. I think you kind of got to have like a lifetime license. There's some constraints that I can't really talk to, but the simulation and even with the copy trader, if you ever go that route, once you install it, you've got like an Apex copy trader capability that you can, like with Apex, you can have up to 20 accounts that you can trade at one time. That's another reason I like NinjaTrader. But TradeAvate has a free organic group trader, is what they call it. And all it is you can have up to 20 accounts, within TradeAvate, and just trade one account. And so I trade 25K accounts, and I got a small R, and I look at $150 to $200 profits daily, with my risk around 150. And so now all of a sudden, when you got $1,500 trailing drawdown to kind of mess with, well, that's again taking. I don't really have $25,000 to trade with. I've got the buying power of 25,000, but I've really only got $1,500. So kind of divide that by 10, and that's kind of where that 150 comes in. But if I can look at consistently earning, 10, 12 points per trade, and look at those high probable trades, then next thing you know, $200 and $300 a day adds up quickly. And when we started this group, slowing it down to speed up, what does even $175 a day equate to, over time? Well, that is a $3,500 positive cash flow once you're funded, and you're funded, within 60 trading days. That 0.35R we talked about, you're funded within 30 trading days, and then you have that positive cash flow. So extremely high potential opportunity is presented to us if we have a plan and we follow the plan and stick to the plan. Here's a tool that I believe everyone in this group should probably become very intimate with, to be able to validate your plan, work on your entry criteria, work on the buy limits, the sell limits, your buy stops, your sell stops. Do not forget the power of catalysts. When we start dealing with futures, when Jerome Powell speaks, or you have CPI or PPI, I think I shared it last week, but I had 10 accounts. So I lost them just like that, because I was lack of discipline, and I wasn't paying attention to the news. It hit my stop. I had a stop in. I shouldn't have lost any accounts, but it dropped so hard and so fast, it became a market order. There were no buyers to save me. So it was over $2,000 lower than my stop loss before I actually got filled. And that was just 10 accounts that were in the that were already passing evaluation, gone. So historical data, go through what happens at 10 o'clock Alaska time, or what happens at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go and just look at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over a span of like 30 days, or maybe Wednesdays. That's the power of chart analysis, looking at historical data, because 10 o'clock or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is a very strategic time frame. A lot of times you don't want to be in a trade right at 10, but you want to see what market movers or makers are doing, let things settle, and then get in. You can a lot of times do more after 2 p.m., for an hour than you can, between say 11 and 2 p.m., between 11 and 2 Eastern Standard Time. That's the kind of stuff that you can practice. Any condition that you're comfortable with, or what your time frame allows you to do, you can practice in it. Simulators, I believe, add so much more value than just coming into TradingView and just clicking through the different candles. You can do excellent analysis. You can validate your thesis based on historical data within TradingView. Absolutely. But until you can get in and play the price action on the different time frames as the candles themselves come in, because then that's where the value is. That's where you're going to gain that confidence. That's where you're going to not be so the psychology is there. You can start training yourself, because you're going to be training as it's going to play out when the market's open. Clicking through one candle at a time validates the plan, but it does not meet the training objective. The emotion's not there. I'm not tied to a candle that is fully mature every time I click shift right on my keyboard.
Good
All right.
stuff.
What else could we do? What could we do better to help you guys?
I think seeing you work through the mechanics of it helps when you're on the new platform. So something we need to see, because it helps you get through it instead of fumbling through it for days trying to figure it out. You kind of led the way on that, and now we can see it happening and it's make it a little faster for us.
Okay, so, all right, so Sean, I appreciate that feedback. So that kind of tells me, hey, you really haven't spent a lot of time in Ninja yet, or the Ninja trading platform yet. But kind of seeing it up kind of helps a little bit. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, I'm still really just staying in trading view at this point. I wouldn't say I'm as far as you guys are as far as I started doing limit buys this last week. I think I shared a couple trades, but started working on that and working on those entries and getting a little more profit out of it. So it worked out this week, so made me feel a little more confident in it.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to kind of wrap it up here again, because I'm just kind of, when we go into this playback. So again, you've got your control center, everything kind of happens there. Under connections, you got this playback. When you connect to that, we just disconnected, everything's gone. But when we connect, I thought I did. There we go. When we connect, choose your asset, choose your instrument, and you can go in and just do one day at a time. But once you get it in there and get it set up, you're just logging into the Ninja Trader, download maybe the current day's data, and you've got a library of stuff to go with, and it should be very minimal time to bring up your training, which should be part of every day. Hey, are you able to spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day? But you don't want to spend 20, 30 minutes to configure, something. And when you're not in Zoom call and have everybody, you're not going to have the bandwidth issues I had today. Again, I appreciate Julie kind of highlighting that it might have been, let's see here. Let me get out of this stuff. So I had to go all the way through the steps there. But anyway, this kinetic, end of day. I can't speak as an authoritative figure on that. I do remember, I think Tracy Ball from Push Button Trading kind of mentioned something along those lines. I don't know if that was a workaround, if you did not already have, like Apex or a funded account where that data is available already. But like free data. So if you don't have Apex or whatever, I believe that's the reason that's there. So again, I appreciate Julie kind of bringing that up. I've been successful with this here once because even under new, I could go in here under historical. No, I'm sorry, under tools. Just tools alone from your control center, being this asset right here, historical data. I just want to come in. I can come in and get all the market data I want on whatever asset I want. So last but not least, again, is I don't want to go out of there, is you just kind of just setting your screens up. That's a whole block of instruction, but just kind of know under properties, once you have a chart up, just kind of start, your colors, chart background, some of your text, just pretty simple stuff, but do make sure you just get in the habit of just save as a default so that it's always the same. Once you do it once, you don't have to do it over and over, but at least give you that common look and feel. You can see how I kind of like the gray background. I do like to mirror things as much as I can. Trading View is kind of where I got it, easy on my eyes. But I also believe within the push button trading, like free community, I believe there are a lot of tutorials on the Ninja Trader A configuration in there. But I will work towards kind of creating a little library of, hey, what's the simplest way to come in and kind of create one chart, save it as a template so that every time you log in, there you are. From a historical data download perspective, how can I easily just kind of come in and then I'm set up to train? Because my challenge to all of you is, hey, are you back trading, the historical data, at least on a platform? Are you doing that at least, 4 to 5 days out of the week for, say, at least 20 to 30 minutes? And are you consistent with how you're back trading? Are you saying, hey, here's my playbook, and here's how I determine my bullish or bearish bias. And are you consistent with how you're entering the trade, managing the trade, and exiting the trade? Utilize the simulator, 20 to 30 minutes a day, even if it's 4 or 5 trades, spanning, maybe you get to span like 2 to 3 days in a 20, 30-minute window. Journal it. Do a scorecard. Is it working or not working? Because if you're struggling and you're just staying the same in your real account within TradingView, we need to figure out why. Are you trading the same when the same conditions present themselves over and over, or are you doing a little bit different? And that's where the simulator, that's where a training plan comes in. Really, we should be probably training 3 to 1, probably train 2 to 3 hours longer when you're in a trade, maybe only 15, 20 minutes. That's kind of what I mean by that. You might only be in a trade, in a futures trade, done right. You're probably not going to be in more than 5, 10, 15 minutes. But it might take 2 to 3 hours of training regularly so that you can identify those opportunities to get into those trades that may only take you 15 to 30 minutes. It might be that first hour or 2 hours of the market where your trade is actually going to be 15 minutes long within that 2-hour window. But what work are you doing when the market's closed or when you're not actually trading real money to prepare you for that 15 minutes of positive cash flow? And so that's, again, psychology of trading, kind of throwing that out there. What are we doing as professionals desiring to have positive cash flow from trading? What are we doing behind the scenes? If it's just an hour here and there when the market's open, without a journal, without going back and assessing your performance and asking yourself, even before you hit trade, enter on your keyboard, have you asked yourself, hey, why am I entering the trade? This week, the last few days, got my wife here with me as a trading partner. She's learning trading. I'm talking out loud to her. And so now I have to explain to her why I'm getting into the trade. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm observing with that, I only did 2 trades today. I only did 1 yesterday. And I think last Friday I did 3. I am a habitual overtrader. That has been my weakness. And having to have someone here and I'm explaining why I'm getting in, I'm going through it like my mouth's kind of dropping, like, good grief. That might be like one of the number one things. Julie, you kind of mentioned it. Well, you kind of inspired me. That's one of your rules. Anthony, you were pretty strong on that last week. Hey, with RSI and higher quality trades, less trading, and you're observing things. And I really do want to. We'll do the RSI. Maybe we'll get that next week, because again, I think when we can find confluence and stuff like that, it'll add some value. Didn't get that this week, but
I think too, like when you're looking at sports, any sports you participate in, there's more practice than the actual live event.
that's true. That is exactly right. How much time are you spending? The work off the field is revealed during that 1 hour they're on the field. You're exactly right. That 40+ hours, off the field, you can tell when they get on the field. This simulator and futures, again, I'm very excited for everyone in this community of what can be done. The different hours that are available. Being able to just narrow our focus down to a couple of the different equities, be it the NASDAQ or the SPY, or maybe it's gold. Some people like that, platinum. But we don't have to go out and screen, 100 different stocks. We can just study, the price action of what's happening globally, with for the markets and execute a plan. Just how many times, oh, good grief, this is it. Now I'm gonna end. I've already got my 10,000 words in for the day. I apologize. But I'm how many times? So here's like 5:30 in the morning, up, down, retest it. It goes bullish. Okay. It was a repeat here. Again, here's 5:15, 5:30. Kind of rejected, but it kind of comes down, liquidates. We identify higher low, it goes bullish. There's such a consistency and gaining some confidence with a simulator to just recognize, because even this morning, let's see, are we in a lifetime? This right here is Tuesday. So this is real time. Yeah, here's 5:45. So it kind of comes down. Let me go over here to the 5 minute. I mean, down, comes back up. You've got this wick that comes down. Well, look at that hammer. How many times do we see this pattern within the first hour? So this is Tuesday morning, and then what we kind of back traded earlier was Monday morning. Yeah, like right over here. So again, kind of up, but it comes down and retests it. Very, very similar. Instead of coming down, liquidating and going up, we shot up, but hey, we weren't going to chase anything, but it comes down, all this traffic, all this volume, hill to support, rinse and repeat. Opportunities there. So TradingView is a great way, macro, to kind of look and see how things repeat, and go into download your TradingView. This is a free platform, especially once you have an Apex account or even a Bluesky account. It's a free platform. So you've got a free simulator to go in and just fully immerse all your senses, your intellectual, your intuition, your logic into your training plan. And my challenge for you over the next week is, hey, take at least 5 of the next 7 days, minimum of 20 to 30 minutes, and just trade like it's the real market. But be consistent on how you're going to trade. Look for the low of the day, look for a reversal, look for a double bottom, look for a hammer, look for 10 EMA. Any one of those, just really choose on 1 or 2. And log about 5 days of trading, being consistent. And look how you are positive over those days. That's going to help your confidence. Then why wouldn't you do that in the real market if you're able to do that here in the simulator? And that's golden. That's golden. And don't forget, the value of larger time frames. Again, what price is doing, since the end of April. Again, beautiful double bottom here, but the end of April versus, a lot of this sideways and then kind of a pullback. So we've got to kind of watch this area here. As I don't know, is the next couple of weeks going to be similar to, March 20th, to middle of April? I don't know. But there's nothing new under the sun that's going to happen. We've got opportunities to go and download this historical data and get a feel from it. Engage all your senses and emotions as these candles develop when price is making all-time new highs. Before you enter your first trade every morning, if price does this, I'm bullish. If price does this, then I'm probably going to be bearish. If price does this, it looks like I've got a sideways day. It's chop. It's all around just that VWAP or point of control. Price is not staying above point of control, it's not staying below. It's going above it, below it, above it, below it. Recognize that early, because we don't want to get in above a bear candle, get wicked in, and then price comes back down below point of control. And then we're like, oh, it's going to go short. So then we get in below a bull candle, below point of control. We get wicked in, and price goes back up above point of control. I've been there, I've done it. I'm tired of it. You know, and that's another reason where I kind of like a buy limit and sell limit. And I'm stressing the importance of these Globex highs and Globex lows. You know, Julie's 60-minute that she kind of brings in. Hey, what is the current market's high and low? What has it given us in the first hour of the market? What was the actual US market's previous day high and low? Within that framework is where I'm making financial decisions. I'm going to trade. I absolutely am going to respect the high that was established, you know, previously. Absolutely, today is a beautiful case in point. Probably more so this area right here, I've had on my chart for, I don't know, since back, I know early last week, if not earlier. Was I surprised when it rolled over and came down into this area? But this was all built before this all occurred. And that's the beauty of the simulation and going in. These right here will stay on my chart. I'll update them as price does mature, but these blocks right here, price zones, were built days ago. And then to see price come down and interact the way it did today, it shouldn't surprise us. You know, it kind of comes back up. So and I think I kind of shared the trade I had today, and it was small. I had to do a small one because the beauty of it, I was under like 9 accounts. I only needed like a little over $100 to go, and then I think for 6 other accounts, I had just about 180 to go. So I actually went 10-point trades, and I had 15 accounts get funded today, and just averaging a little over 200 and some dollars, you know, 8 days in a row. You know, did it, and that is
Hey, Jake,
just
on those, it sounds like it, but you can copy trade your simulation accounts or your evaluation accounts. Is that correct?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
didn't know
something
that.
that like Apex advertises quite a bit with the copy trader.
Oh, cool.
They advertise that quite a bit because you take say a 50K account, you've got a what is it, 3,000 target, $2,500 trailing drawdown. Well, when you're trading multiple accounts, and it's a philosophy that even if you're trading one account, but Tracy Ball was really good at it, and I'm hearing more and more really seasoned traders talk about it. I resonate with it, but it's like, hey, if I've got a 2,500 trailing drawdown, I think at a minimum, my risk probably shouldn't be more than $250. Hey, that gives me 10. You know, I got to be wrong 10 times in a row before I actually lose that account. Well, we start looking, if you got a $250 R, and probably 125 is actually probably sufficient on a 50K, because then you start looking for these, you know, when you start plotting these type of price zones and then realize, oh my goodness, look at on my 5-minute time frame, price is bouncing back up out of this support area. You know, when you've got a $150 R and you get in, your stop's kind of below this price zone, just even coming back up to VWAP, you know, coming back up to point of control. Because look at the amount of volume of all these transactions. It's still, this area right here is still very strong, and it just blasts up through that. But you're looking at 2.83 Rs, you know, when you have a small risk, you know. So this is like $300 risk, but that's almost, you know, $900 profit. And even with Apex, we got to be careful, because our first 3 months, that consistency rule of like 30%. So on an evaluation account, evaluate, pass it in one day. Consistency rule is not applicable. It goes to a PA account. But then once it's a performance account, you've got to consider that 30%. So I don't want more than, let's see here, I'll just. I don't want, oh shoot, it's all out for the day. Let's see here. Here we go. I can share this. Like here's my funded accounts down here. This was today's. I have to stop. I don't want more. I want less than 500 because then I restrict my payouts once I do get where I'm going to start making withdrawals. So for 3 months, let's be consistent. 4 months, then you don't have a 30% consistency rule. But those are the kind of things we've got to watch for. So even though we might get in here $900, it may not be the wisest thing to do depending on where you are with your account. 50K account, 30% is going to be up around that 700-800. So that's a little bit different. You got a little bit more wiggle room, but I'm dealing with the 25K account. I want to make sure that I don't get over that upper 480, 490, because then it becomes more complicated for me in the first 30 or first 90 days, first 3 months of withdrawals, of how much I'm able to withdraw. It becomes restricted. So there's nuances out there. And again, this is a forum, ask those questions, drop it in WhatsApp. Let's make sure everybody understands the nuances. But if you get in a good day, you get in a trend, within the first few months of a funded account, and next thing you know, it's like, you've hit your target profit 2 to 3 times within a week. It's going to affect how much you can withdraw, It's all said and done. So there'll be some surprises there. And then in here, I had to, let's see, actually, we still got to kind of manage because I had to have a smaller trade because I only needed like less than $100 based on yesterday to push these over that 26.5 limit. But what is helping me, and of course I didn't trade for a few weeks up till middle of May, traveling, not feeling well, and then down, I kind of had that heart procedure and stuff, but being able to understand what we covered last Tuesday, repeated again today, is where are my price areas where I need to focus my analysis, my attention. It's no longer just, a hammer candle or 10 EMA. There's more to it. And it's like, hey, if I'm bouncing off of support, hallelujah, that's good. If I'm approaching resistance, I'm making a decision. If I can't break through resistance, I'm expecting interaction with this point of control. That's the edge. That's what I'm trying to convey. That is powerful. It's an edge to understand those 3 areas and how price within these futures just time and time again repeat the same type of interaction at the bottom, interaction at the top, interaction in the middle with this VWAP and / point of control. That's the edge. And I believe with a simulator, understanding that framework, those price zones, whatever strategy you want to use, be it 10 EMA, hammers, getting in at point of control, or VWAP, that's as long as you're consistent with whatever you do, that's where you're going to make money. So, all right. We good? Just some real quick, and again, we're going on an hour, 45 minutes. I apologize. This is just so fun, and everybody's always free to drop when they can. I think everybody has, except for a couple. But I would love for you guys to just drop a note or something in our WhatsApp group and really just give me a sense of what direction we want to go. More of the simulation, and we just kind of talk through the trades. Obviously, we want to make sure everybody's comfortable with the platforms, but maybe it's just I can drop short videos to kind of tie how you would configure a platform together. That would save some time, because getting in this group to kind of talk through as candles are developing and moving through, that's where I think we really want to spend most of our time. So I would love some feedback, because again, I do this for you guys. I just want to make sure I'm adding value, and I don't want to be just a meeting where we come together Tuesday and talk about a different platform and demonstrate a different platform. I want folks to be resourced with the right tools, know what questions to ask, and if I don't have an answer, we can go out and research it. But I think having the right tools for your training, is paramount at this point here. But if you don't mind dropping a note or something in there, and everybody that's listening to this later, hey, just drop something in there. You want to just see more, just the simulation, and we just trade. More of that. Do we want to invest to take 10-15 minutes each session, and like with Anthony, hey, let's look at the divergence with the RSI. Let's work it. So we're adding a little bit of knowledge to trading as a whole each week, but we don't want to lose focus of utilizing the tools that we do have and executing a trading plan and witness together, consistently winning over time, trades by utilizing the tools. That's the goal of the group. So any
Sounds
feedback
good to
would be
me.
awesome. So
Today's been great.
did that help? Very, very good. Very good.
Good stuff.
Today's been great for me.
That helps. Because another thing to keep in mind, I believe, when you log into, for those that, and Nestle, you've just done it recently, but yesterday I was walking another group that I'm training, through kind of the Trade-Evate kind of set up and how to integrate into TradingView. But on that same page where we launch within Trade-Evate, well, there's some fine print right below that where it says, hey, click here to download the Ninja Trader 8 platform. So don't pay and don't create a Ninja Trader 8 account, like a broker account, to install the actual trading platform. Those are two separate entities. And it might be difficult to separate the two. I think some folks have kind of went down that path where they end up opening a Ninja Trader 8 account to have the Ninja Trader platform. That's not necessary, not required at all. Ninja Trader is a little confusing because it's Ninja Trader 8 platform, and then you got Ninja Trader Broker. They are a broker and they have a platform, and we're just dealing with the platform. But that's really all we want at this point. Rhonda, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Did you record that at all? Could I get that? Because that's kind of where I'm at. Heard what I did. I'm now on Trade-Evate. My auto a different password.
Yeah.
So I've got Trade-Evate up. I just need to finish setting up.
Yep.
And I don't want
here.
to waste everybody's time to do that. I know how to do it if I just get a little bit of direction.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and end here, and then I'll create a quick new Zoom for us real quick. And the only reason I kind of want to do that is I don't want to, and I did record one yesterday, but I stopped recording because of the private information coming up, account number, password, showing up on one screen. I'm very sensitive to make sure that's not recorded on anywhere. So we'll just go you and I, and then we'll stop the recording once we get to that point. I believe we're going to have you integrated with TradingView and your Trade-Evate up within 10 minutes. I really do believe that. If
Need
not,
to
we're gonna
get
figure out
going.
why, and someone else will have the same
No.
issue at one point, and we'll have an answer.
Yeah, it's my problem, not everybody else's.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
let's figure that out. So, hey, real quick, Esley, it was so awesome to see you. Please send Stacy our love. Missed her tonight, but it was awesome to see you guys log in tonight. Sean, always awesome to hear your voice and see your engagement. And Anthony, again, you're just a diehard. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
Thank you
So-
very much. Thank you for
Yeah.
everything. Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll end here. Rhonda, I'll be sending you a
Yep.
link. Just go to WhatsApp, point to
Okay.
point, and we'll see if we can't resolve. Anthony, any closing comments or anything tonight before we do end up
No,
here?
I think it was great. I also think that Saturday is a viable time, you know, if you're having withdrawal symptoms of no charts. It's another good opportunity, especially if you want to try out some different indicators. And then do it in playback and see if that kind of opens your eyes a little bit more. But again, you know, hey, keep your charts clean and simple.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, because these indicators, they can all kind of either work together or against each other. So just make sure you're doing it, you know, the right way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good word, you know, and just, you know, what price zones, I think are, you know, indicators
it's key.
are lagging, and price zones a lot of times can, you know, it's an edge because we can just anticipate, you know, rejection. Like here's this rejection candle here on this green line. I mean, this is leading because this line was plotted well before price came up here, then it gets rejected from it. So, you know, leading versus lagging, you know, most indicators are lagging, but it's a good word, Anthony. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Sounds good.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and end here.
All right,
And
yep.
Rhonda, I'll be sending you a Zoom link here almost instantaneously.
Okay,
All right.
I have
See
to I have to download
Yeah.
WhatsApp on my laptop or on my computer sec. It's doing that.
you. Okay.
All right, talk.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thanks. All right. Good night.
All right, we'll see y'all.